Hello, my friends, my family, my esteemed colleagues. I'm being asked more and more often question about flu. If flu is not caused by virus, then what is the flu? And how can it be transmitted? Why, when some individual has flu symptoms and is in the same room with other people, most likely the other people, not all of them, but some of them will also catch the flu. What is with herpes? If it's not caused by virus, then how come it stays there? And how come it can be transmitted from one person, one individual to another individual? And what's with the other viral diseases, like dengue, for example? So let me go into explaining first the flu. Basically, we are all toxic. Our cells do not cleanse because we have disabled the mechanism of hydration, because we are polluted. We eat what we should not eat. We use spices which stop cellular hydration. And if there is no cellular hydration, active cellular hydration through osmotic pump, then the cells cannot really cleanse. As I explain it, it's like a sponge that is in mild flow of water. So what comes in superficially and goes out, this can cleanse, but no deep cleansing can be achieved. You need either to force the water in under pressure to dislodge the dirt from the sponge, or you need to squeeze it. As you squeeze it, more dirt comes out. So if you have a body that has cells which are toxic, like these toxic sponges, every time you do exercise, you increase the speed of the flow, you increase the blood pressure. So under more pressure, the extracellular liquid is penetrating into these cells, into these sponges, and doing a little bit deeper cleansing. But still, it is still only superficial. We say, well, heavy metals cannot be cleansed. You need chelation because, obviously you cannot get these metals out. Well, why not? Because you are not really doing proper cleanse. You are not forcing the water in to do the flush. You are just depending on the flow of the blood and lymphatic system. And in this way, you really cannot achieve proper cleanse. What happens when we get exposed to unknown forces? You hear noise, you try to protect yourself, okay? You don't know what it is. Somebody comes to hug you from behind. You feel touch unexpectedly. You don't know it's love. You cringe. First, always you react with defending thought. And defense is always cringing, make it yourself tight, make it yourself impenetrable. Now, this is happening to your cells as well. So whenever there is some kind of an abrupt change, you may not even realize it. You get hit with cold wave and you go like this. Well, this is cringe. But when it comes to atmospheric changes, and the strongest ones are in fall and in spring. Basically the frequency, the ambient changes, and it happens from one day to another. All of a sudden, and this rapid change does not give enough time for the cells to adjust to it, to recognize what it is. So they go into cringe. Same as you cringe if somebody comes from behind to hug you, until you realize, oh, okay, I know, and then you hug back. Well, your brain has to give you instructions, so you recognize what is going on, and then you relax and no problem. Now, cells get instructions from our genetic code, from genetic expression, and it also needs some time to react. So when frequencies around you change and your body reacts to it by cringing, well, toxic elements come from your cells into the blood. They pollute your blood, and your body immediately goes into cleansing mode, trying to get this blood clean. It gets the diuretic effect, but not only this, since we are very toxic on cellular level, toxicity of the blood jumps not only to first level but to the second level. Your switch to involve your mucosal tissue in blood cleansing kicks in, and this is when we get all the symptoms. So what are the symptoms of flu? Well, runny nose, mucosal tissue. Nausea, mucosal tissue of stomach. Diarrhea, mucosal tissue of the intestines. Fever, increased level of toxicity of the blood. Body tries to deal with it by changing the frequency, detoxifying in this way. It does it by increasing the heat. So these are all the symptoms of polluted blood and the body's attempt to cleanse it. And these symptoms we call flu. Now, once when you have these symptoms, what is happening? Your aura changes. Anybody who sees auras, when they see somebody with flu, they right away know the aura has changed, because everything is response through electromagnetic fields, and aura is electromagnetic field. When you are happy, the electromagnetic field is strong because your voltage is up, so the aura is strong and goes far. Every time you cringe, every time you go into defense, your power has been sucked into defensive mechanism, which is basically brain has to find solutions, and then muscle tissue has to actively do what has to be done to preserve life. So no matter what it is, even that you are not sure what's going on, but you are caught in surprise, you cringe. Brain sucks energy, goes like, what's happening? And finding quickly solutions. Well, this depleting of energy makes possibility for shift in the way your organs and your cells are vibrating. And this is going to be influenced by the toxicity that was released or toxicity that already exists in the body from before. It could have gotten there as reaction to something that you have seen, your emotion, and this vibration, we are in energetic fields. So every emotion is a thought, and every thought leaves its imprint, and it is there in your auric field. It could be in your cells, it could be in your blood, in your body, and it could be in your auric field. Same is with any toxic element that you may have consumed, it could have lodged itself. It definitely shows the way where it travels, it leaves the imprint. So you have this in your auric fields, in your electromagnetic fields, you have all these imprints of all these toxicities. And when you get deprived with voltage drops. Voltage is your immune system. That high voltage keeps stable frequency, and these off-tuned frequencies cannot shift your vibration. But as soon as voltage drops, bingo, they can do it. And now when they do it, and your cells are supported with your electric field, then this toxic vibration increases. It radiates stronger. It radiates into your auric field. So now you're vibrating in a particular way of a toxic body, and influenced by the frequencies. So it's combination, frequencies which surround us and our response to them and our interaction. All this is a soup. And now if this soup of the wrong vibration gets into auric field of another individual, it is going to influence electromagnetically auric field of the other individual. Now the other individual may be also affected with these frequencies, but it didn't release so much toxicity, it didn't lose that much voltage, so it is resisting to show any symptoms. But what happens now, if somebody already with this disturbed auric field enters into your auric field, amplifies now the bad vibrations. So it has nothing to do with your saliva going anywhere. They try to take saliva from individual that has a flu and put it in a healthy individual. They was feeling okay, and they could not achieve anything. And if they would achieve something, would not be the same symptoms of flu as the other individual had. Could be something completely different. So obviously, it is not the droplet, and it is not particular pathogen that is being transmitted. It's the overall energies of the auric field. And no mask can protect you from it. It's just your electromagnetic field combining with someone else's and exchange of the frequencies, one influencing the other. And this is how we can spread the same type of reaction of the body between different people. And again, you are going to have individually, you will have slight differences in the way how the symptoms express. More toxic you are, the stronger symptoms you are going to have. Some people can have just a little bit of strep throat and they are fine. Some people will have strep throat and fever. Some people will have strep throat fever and runny nose and phlegm and nausea and diarrhea. Those people have released huge amount of toxic stuff from their cells as they cringed and pollute the blood. And now with combination of the auric field that came from another individual that already vibrates, amplifies this vibration. This is why people now also, when they have been jabbed with highly conductive, electroconductive material, graphene oxide, now the body's energy amplifies the radiation of it. So the actual body becomes the transmitter. And you come into auric field, mask cannot sell the gloves, this is all baloney. You come into this auric field and you are being radiated directly by these frequencies. And your body immediately goes into detox and radiates back, trying to cleanse. Especially if you have enough plasma. If you don't have enough plasma, body may not even do it in this way. But it may trigger release of toxic material from your cells. Again, it's a defense mechanism. Puts you in the cringe mode. When we are talking about virus, something like herpes, well, again, remember it's frequency. And the frequency has to be very similar to the organ, but slightly off-tuned to affect it. If it's completely different frequency, it is not going to react. You have a perfectly tuned piano, and you have a guitar tuned to the same tones, and you strum a string on guitar. If you strum it hard enough to produce strong enough vibration, all of a sudden the A string of piano is going to start to vibrate and produce sound. You have transmitted from one instrument the same frequency onto the other instrument. It's basically the same thing. Only you are not using electromagnetism, you are using sound. Again, frequency. Doesn't matter how you transfer it. Are you using sound? Are you using electromagnetic field? Are you using light? Through all these things you can transmit the frequency. UV light resonates closely to our skin. And if you have toxicity in your skin, and you have strong enough influence of UV light, your skin goes into cleansing mode. It shrinks and starts pushing all the toxic elements out. And since it is skin, the closest way out is through the skin. So it is not going to be absorbed into the blood and then cleansed through a mucosal tissue or through kidneys. It's right in the skin, it pushes it right out. And you get these plaques. They are toxic plasma. Less toxicity you have in the cells, the lesser amount of plaques and smaller plaques you are going to have until you have no plaques, because even when cells cringe, there is no toxicity to be pushed out. So nothing happens except sensitivity, because it creates slight inflammation, and sensitivity to touch. The more pressure you put, the more it hurts. Since we have certain toxins that we have transmitted, and they vibrate very closely to particular tissue, so on the lip, vibrates with the lip. So slightly off-tuned, it creates, body wants to cleanse this frequency out. And when it has opportunity, it will do it, and you will have always same, on the same side, same lip, you are going to have problem. If it is vaginal herpes, it's going to be always there and always on the same spot. It's not going to travel through different places. Always on the same spot. It can be transmitted slightly if you can change the frequency, get another frequency. It may be transmitted somewhere else, but basically it will pop up in the same spot. And then we have invented story that it's a virus and that normally it hides in a bone so we cannot get to it and blah blah blah. We are inventing crap. It is a toxicity that is there in your cells, right there implanted. And every drop of voltage, which means every time either weather changes or you get frightened or you get under stress and you suck in all the energy from your body, now your immunity to hold stable frequency is reduced because voltage is down, and this pathogen stuff, which is the poison that vibrates closely to the tissue but not exactly, it's off-tuned, and it starts shifting the vibration, which we then, through our brain, we see it as a disease, as something irregular. We still know it's our skin, so it vibrates as a skin, but we see it different. So, in general, pathogens do not create disease. Every time anybody who had a stomach ulcer, they go and they are being checked for Helicobacter. And then if it is discovered there, oh, okay, antibiotics, we kill this Helicobacter and we deal with the ulcer. And yeah, the problem goes away a little bit, but then comes back. And what if they don't find Helicobacter and there is ulcer? Hey, now a million other stories can be. Oh, hereditary, your grandfather probably had it. Has nothing to do with it. And Helicobacter is not really a cause, because the same Helicobacter lives in intestines and doesn't produce any ulcer. So why is producing ulcer in the stomach and not in intestines? And why it is in the stomach in the first place? Because it's too alkaline. Now, people who have digestive problems, they are being told to alkalize with sodium bicarbonate, alkaline water. Well, every time you do it, you are diluting your acid that you need to digest, proteins. And if you are not eating proteins, or not enough protein to create this acid, you are eating plant food, well, you are maintaining your stomach alkaline, and this is why Helicobacter can survive there and live there. But again, it's not causing the problem of ulcer. It is just being picked as an excuse. Doctor knows what he is doing. He found this Helicobacter and antibiotic. Why does antibiotic prevent it or make it better? Because again, it puts cells into defense mode. Cells defend themselves from antibiotics, so they are producing heat proteins. They are straightening their membranes so nothing can go in and nothing can go out. No dirt comes out, you are not polluting anything from the polluted cells, and the ulcer is healing. Ulcer is healing not because you have killed the bacteria, but because you have put the tissue in very strong defense mode. But again, it cannot heal properly. It is just blocking and protecting itself. As soon as the poison goes away, antibiotic clears out, this relaxes, protein get dismantled because they're not necessary anymore, and again garbage starts coming out, and this area is toxic because it's highly polluted. So things are completely different than what we think they are. And we always explain the symptoms in a way using the science that we are given through our indoctrination process, which is wrong science, purposely wrong. We are being led the wrong way. Just look what is happening now. Now, if you don't see it now, then you will never see it. Just look what is the new curriculum, what children are learning in the school. Nonsense. to hate each other. It was always this way, only not as visible. We are always being told things to divide us and to take us away from the truth, to make us sicker, not to make us better, depending what type of science you are looking at. Even the physics, the electron flying around the nucleus of atom, it's a pure imagination. Electrons do not exist. Neither does proton and neutron. We create them because this is the way how we can explain things. But we explain them in the wrong way. It's all about energy and electromagnetic radiation, electromagnetic fields. So when we are talking about infecting each other, we are doing through electromagnetic induction. And no mask will help you. You gotta keep distance. But then again, you are getting sick because you are toxic. If you are not toxic, you will not be getting sick. Your cells will cringe, squeeze, but no pollution comes out because you are not toxic. So it's way more important to cleanse on a cellular level than anything else. In this case, yeah, you shiver, you get sunburn, but no plaques, no peeling skin, no symptoms of flu, no symptoms of any kind that would harm your health. Some sensitivity maybe on the skin, sensitivity on the organ, but not real symptoms of disease because your blood is not toxic. This is why the self-healers protocol is so miraculously effective, because it forces you into cellular cleanse when done correctly. And unfortunately, because of our indoctrination, we always think, well, okay, I can get it, okay, but I know that vitamin C high doses is going to be additional boost. Turmeric will be additional boost. Well, actually, high doses of vitamin C are toxic, and they force cells to create heat proteins, defensing proteins, and they prevent cleansing of the cell and hydration of the cell. Cell will not hydrate, no matter what you do. So things work differently. I hear now many people saying, oh, algae, you know, algae cancer, you kill cancer with algae. Again, yes, algae is toxic, and it can help you with cancer. But cancer is all completely different ballgame. It's emotion related. And if you don't control your emotions, you cannot get rid of cancer. Which means you can be toxic as hell and you can continue eating toxic food and carbohydrates and everything. But if you can manage your emotion, you are going to heal. Because it's energy related. It's uncontrolled proliferation due to low voltage. And if you can force increase of the voltage by feeding it from your heart through the brain in a proper frequency, you are going to get rid of cancer. But this is where the problem is. When you are scared, it's very difficult to maintain high spirit and happiness to raise your voltage. And this is the point of the medicine, to scare you shitless. As soon as something they feel, it could be cancer, and you hear cancer and your voltage goes to hell. And it turns into cancer. moving, spreading cancer from here, from lungs, into a kidney or into prostate. It's impossibility, because it's a different vibration. The cell that comes from your lungs, it cannot produce cancer anywhere else but in your lungs, because of frequency. It cannot even get lodged anywhere else, because if it does, it shifts frequency. But what will create cancer in different parts of the body? Because of your emotions. Before, you didn't know you had a cancer. All of a sudden, you know, oh, I have a cancer of a breast. And then you think, yo, but if I die? Now you think about death, and this affects your structure. It can go into bone cancer, and it can go into lung cancer, because you feel you suffocate, you die from suffocation. Emotions are going now to draw the energy from the tissue or organs that run on frequencies related to your fear. And this is how cancer spreads. It's all completely different story than from what we think, because we are being told fiction science. And we can get to truth only by starting from the very bottom, from the structure itself. Every property of everything depends on a structure, not on atomic values. This is why water, plain water, pure water, you can make it to be toxic and to kill you like cyanide, or to be healing and to heal you like a, I don't know, incredible medication. It all depends how you structure it. And still, it is still what we say, oxygen and hydrogen. Has nothing to do with it. It is the mesh that it creates, how they connect. It is the sacred geometric structure. It is behind everything. And you influence it through electromagnetic waves, through your thoughts. You can heal instantly, and you can get sick instantly. Okay, I think that more or less you are getting the picture. It's not easy. It needs a lot of settling, a lot of thinking. Brain has to get involved, absorb the information, and do some calculation to start opening your mind to a completely new reality. And we are entering now completely new reality, and we are all learning now from scratch. All new science. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Love you all.